My sanctuary, the place that I call home, has become the source of all my stress, overwhelm, and fear. And quite honestly, I'm sick of it. Could this be you? Are you not achieving the things that you want to achieve because maybe there's some clutter going on in your sanctuary like it was mine? Do you need to take a moment to take care of those places in your home that are kind of stuck in your mind, that are preventing you from doing the things that you need to do? Because again, there was a study done. This could be the very reason that you've not been able to achieve things in the past. And because we are just rounding out the first part of our year, the first part of the month, depending on when this video goes out, it's a good time. It's a good time. We're at the top of the year. We still have time to do that decluttering, clear up that mental space so that we can achieve the goals that we want to achieve. Hi guys, I'm Andrea Patrick and I am the BU boss. That's what I call myself anyway. And in this video, I want to explore 3 areas that I've struggled with. And I think that you might be struggling with too if you are a high-performing, ambitious woman who's always on the go, out there going to get it. But when you come home, maybe there are some things that you have kind of fallen back on and they are causing you some stress and overwhelm, and it's preventing you from going after the life you love. So I'm going to talk about those 3 areas that I've dealt with and see if you can find, a correlation between what's going on in your life. Maybe what I have to say today is going to be very helpful to you as it was to me in recognizing these things as I began decluttering. And while I talk to you, I'm also going to be sharing with you some of the things in my home that I needed to kind of take care of as I was trying to figure out my new year and how I wanted things to go. So just kind of clean along with me as you listen to this video if that's something that you need to do. Join me as I declutter some areas of my home and talk about how clutter can affect your ability, and has affected my ability, to do it, whatever it is for you, afraid. In a study conducted titled Home and the Extended Self, there were over 1,100 women in this study. And what they were looking at was the link between well-being and clutter, and then the impact that regular decluttering could have on one's ability to get closer to their goals and their dreams. Now, as suspected, there was a correlation. They found that there were factors that contributed to the stress and overwhelm because of the cluttering that was going on. This is a perfect time. We've just sort of come off of the new year, new you sort of journey that starts in January, starting to settle into the year a little bit. And now we can really start to identify some of the things that we may not have thought about looking at during our vision board party, but could possibly be holding you back. That's where these 3 areas are going to be coming in. So, as I mentioned earlier, I'm Andrea and I help high-performing, ambitious women find clarity or gain clarity and develop a personal brand that they can leverage to get the things that they want, to build the life that they love. If that sounds like something that you want to do in this new year, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And I also have just started a Substack. Yes. And I'm super excited about it, and I would love it if you would head over there and subscribe as well. It is called The Agile Leader, and I am talking about all things how to position yourself in a way that you can pivot when it's important. You can show up in that space the way you need to with your value and own it. And I'm going to give you all types of case studies, and you'll see behind the scenes of what I'm doing and some of the situations that I've gotten myself in. I've got one that I'm thinking about right now, so head over there and subscribe. All of the links that I have for this video are going to be in the description below, and some of them will also be in the first pinned comment. So make sure you join me in my Boss Squad community. That's where we're kind of doing it and we're ruling the world. So join us over there as well. Let's look at the first area where clutter is affecting you and may be helpful if you declutter some of your spaces, and that is with overwhelm. If you are someone like me and you are out in the streets and you're doing the thing to make the stuff happen, some things fall by the wayside. And so you might come home and there is an area in your home where it's like stuff has just piled up, and it is, every time you look at it, it causes you overwhelm because you know that it needs to be taken care of. You know that it needs to be fixed, but you're trying to figure out, when in the devil am I going to get this to happen? I struggle with it myself. I absolutely do. And it seems like the worse it is, the worse things are at my home, the more underwater I feel, the more I struggle to keep up. And it really does, this disorganization, it causes a few things that you may not be recognizing as the cause of what you're dealing with in your professional life or in your business life. You may think it's like, if you're trying to separate home and business, you can't. Like, there's no such thing as work-life balance. There's just work-life harmony. And that's why you may not be recognizing these areas as the source of your business or professional struggle, right? You may be seeing these things separately, but they're not. They're the same. And there are three things that I want to share with you that I think are going to help you in this space, and the things that disorganization can cause. Number one, disorganization can cause you anticipation and anxiety. Okay. The anticipation, the mounting of effort is going to take for you to sort everything out. Like, you're just anticipating this. It's causing you anxiety. You are like, just fidgety and just triggered because there's something going on in your brain. You can't quite figure it out. Well, if you're disorganized, that anticipation level is going to rise. That anxiety level is going to rise. When you walk into your home, there isn't going to be peace. So when you declutter your space and you have a Zen space to come home to, it helps you to unpack all of the things from the day a lot easier. But if you have a ton of stuff going on in your head already, and then you walk in the house and there is clutter everywhere, then you're going to be like anticipating and having the anxiety of actually having to fix it, right? It's just one more thing to add to your plate. The next thing that this clutter is going to cause you, this disorganization is going to cause you, is procrastination. You don't want to start the project in the first place because you don't even know where to start. Where do I go from here? You see a mountain of things. You see like a huge task in front of you, and there's absolutely no idea where you want to start. None. So you don't start at all. You just keep leaving it the way it is, having a hard day, a stressful day, a busy day, and then you come home to the clutter. And it is a source of anxiety and stress because you don't know, it's so much to do, but then you also wait and you're like, well, I don't want to get to today. I don't have time. Oh, I've had a hard day. Oh, I'm busy. And you don't make the time. So you procrastinate and procrastinate. And it's just this continuous loop that you constantly find yourself on. Then the next thing that disorganization can cause is frustration. Frustration. Not only are you highly anxious about the space, not only do you want to not do the things, so you procrastinate, but now you're frustrated because you know it needs to be done. But you find yourself, after cleaning it up maybe last year or 6 months prior, and here you are right back in the same situation with the clutter, and you've done it again, and now you're frustrated with yourself because you keep doing it and you have absolutely no idea what you need to do different to get a different result. I understand. And that's where all the overwhelm comes from. It comes from the anticipation of having to do it, the procrastination of not doing it, and then the frustration of the fact that you did it, but now here you are again having to do it all over again. The next area that clutter causes is imposter syndrome. If you haven't dealt with this, I applaud you. Please leave a comment below and tell me how you've been able to avoid it all your life. But imposter syndrome is something that I've had to deal with in the past. And sometimes, if I'm being honest, it creeps up every now and again. It really does. But when you declutter, it does help you with that a little bit. Listen, if you're not familiar with what imposter syndrome is, it's where you sometimes doubt yourself and your abilities. And this thought process continues to persist. Like you're not seeing the value in your accomplishments. You feel like you're not where you need to be, or you're not as good as someone else. That's what, imposter syndrome can feel like. And when you have a bunch of clutter around you, it can amplify this. When your home is cluttered, your mind is cluttered. And when your mind is cluttered, it's very hard to wade through the minutia to see your value, even when it's right in front of your face. I mean, Raise your hand if you can ever think of a time where you did something or it didn't go the way you wanted to go, and you find yourself thinking, well, wow, that was a bust, and maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was, or wow, I'm not as good as that speaker was when they stood up, or oh wow, I didn't do such a good job on that thing, and you feel like, well, nobody's going to want to work with me because of this thing or that. Well, when your mind is cluttered with not having done your due diligence in terms of self-awareness, or maybe your mind is cluttered because you come home to a mess and all you can think about are, the things that are undone, or all you can think about are the negative things that have happened or whatever, and you have not cleared your mind and given yourself the time, energy, or space to really be honest and say, well, it just didn't go that way for this reason or that, but I can pick myself up and I can start over again. If you are allowing clutter, whether it's your mind or your space, to prevent you from seeing clearly, yes, imposter syndrome is going to persist. But here's the thing I want you to know. You are as unique as a snowflake. So when you start to feel that clutter and you start feeling that imposter syndrome coming up as a result, I want you to remind yourself that just like a snowflake or a fingerprint, there is nobody else like you. And in this world where, people are trying to look the same and they are trying to provide, the same services, just God forbid, like you're not a unicorn, there is somebody else that does what you do. But when you can tap into your unique value, you can share yourself in a way that is valuable, and you won't have to deal with that imposter syndrome quite as much, because you'll be able to remind yourself that even if somebody did it better in that regard, you can do it better in this regard. Or maybe someone will like this person because of this thing, but your customer, your relationship, the thing that you're trying to build is going to be possible because you are approaching people who want it the way you are giving it, right? One of the things that I had to work on early on in my business, and I have struggled with it in recent past, is the fact that what I am sharing with people, it didn't come from a book. It came from experience, a personal experience that I am very well familiar with, that I can relate to my customers with. That walking on eggshell feeling, that feeling like you got to sort of shrink yourself because to make someone else feel big, or maybe the feeling of imposter syndrome where you don't think that what you're bringing to the table is as valuable as what someone else is bringing to the table. Those feelings I identify with wholeheartedly. But when I went through my process and figured out this BU method, I realized that I am as unique as a snowflake, and I can walk in that thing with confidence. So I'm telling you, once you've decluttered your mind and your space, quite frankly, because that's going to help you declutter your mind, you'll be able to more clearly identify your strengths and then capitalize on those strengths in whatever it is you're trying to do, which is going to kick that imposter syndrome in the behind, okay? But it's going to take some self-awareness. It's going to take some self-awareness, and you got to know your value. You got to be clear on it. You got to own your awesome. I say that all the time. Own your awesome. Because if you don't, who will? Right? You may not do it the way someone else does. As a matter of fact, I just had a conversation in a meeting that I went to today. It was a networking meeting. I made the point that, once you've identified how you need to show up in the world with your value, you will recognize that you don't have to do it the way industry does it. You don't have to copy and repeat things. You can kind of do it the way you do it best. And this woman was talking about how even if what you're doing isn't normal, I think that she said it something like that. And I kind of chimed in and I was like, but when you've identified what you need to do and be your best, then there's no such thing as the normal way to do it, or, there's no such thing as, abnormal, because you're doing it the way you need to do it. And so you don't have to walk on those eggshells in fear that you're not doing it the right way. You are doing it the best way you know how, the way that's going to keep you encouraged and inspired and motivated to continue. And you are seeing results because now you are authentic. People are resonating with your authenticity. You are able to organically speak your message in a way that people can really latch onto and want to continue to work with you. So therefore, the normal industry standard, the best practices, those things may be modified by you, that you can take a piece of it, but you can, adjust it so that it works with the way that you need to do and be your best. So then that takes self-awareness. It takes you understanding what your unique value is and what your unique position on something is, your unique take on it. And then you can very intelligently speak on that, regardless of what is going on or regardless of industry standards or, the industry norms for whatever it is you're dealing with. But along with self-awareness comes this self-regulation component where you need to know exactly how you want to show up. Your emotional intelligence game has to be on point. You need to understand what your zero is in terms of the volume of your personality and like what your calm, cool, collected personality characteristics are. But then you need to know what it will take to get you to a 10 where you are like amped up, whether good or bad. And you need to know kind of all of the in-betweens, being able to regulate yourself in a way that you can relate to whoever it is you need to relate to. You might be able to better regulate, well, not even might be, you will be able to, regulate conflict or manage conflict even better. You'll be able to communicate better with people when you can manage yourself, when you can control your communication style and you understand what it is. You can better communicate with other people. Self-awareness and self-regulation go hands in hand here if you want to knock that imposter syndrome out of the park once you've decluttered. See how we brought that back? Like decluttering your space and decluttering your mind helps you to realize your value, which in turn allows you to like be more self-aware, regulate yourself better, and then show up the way you need to show up in that room, communicate better, manage expectations, all of the things. Now, before I get to this very last area that I want to talk to you about, I also want to talk to you about subscribing to the channel. Okay, one last time. Well, maybe not, but go ahead and subscribe. I am actually on a growth journey here on YouTube to monetize my channel. I worked really hard in the last year to get, the subscribers that we have. But my goal is to keep you, not just be a one-off. So if you stumbled on me and you like this video, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss my uploads. But then also join me over in the community. Let me know. It's like, hey girl, I actually subscribed today and I'm super excited about it. And let me know what other types of content you need to learn about in order to leverage who you are to get where it is that you want to go. Because that's what we're talking about here on this channel. So that's number one. And then also don't forget about my Substack, The Agile Leader. I'm excited about that, guys. So, join me over there. Let's see what that's going to be all about. All right, let's get to this last area that I want to talk to you about, where decluttering or clutter could be affecting your ability to achieve your goals and build your dream life. Okay, this last area is you are stuck. You have no traction. You are like frozen in time and it's causing you to lose focus. Therefore, you don't know what to do next. You're stuck. Okay. Have you ever started a project, and I'm going to talk about where I am now because I'm in this video, I'm decluttering some things in my home. But have you ever started off cleaning in one room and the next thing you know, you have a bunch of stuff. Let's say it's a bedroom. You've got a bunch of stuff on the bed and on the floor and the closet's all jacked up. And you find yourself in the bathroom cleaning up something else. And you look at the mess and you're like, how did I get here? And what in the world am I going to do about this mess? You're in one room and next thing you know, in another whole room. You got 2 to 3 rooms that are just in, disarray, all because you started to clean one room. Okay, you're stuck. What do you do now? What do you do? The focus goes out the window. You have completely lost control of the situation. And now we're dealing with, you guessed it, paralysis by analysis. You don't know what to do next because there are too many things to do. You don't know where to start. You don't know where to put things. You're mad at yourself because you started this process and then now you've just kind of created this whole monster of things. The focus goes out the window. What do we do? What do we do? We have to devise a plan where we are able to declutter, get our clarity back, and then we'll be able to make those decisions and avoid that paralysis analysis situation. How do you do that? How does that happen? Well, you have to create systems. You have to create a process for things. You know, I tell my husband everything has a place and you need to put everything in its place. Something like that. I don't really remember the saying. But my point is, just like Barney used to say, clean up, everybody clean up. When you have a system for things and you have a process, it goes on auto drive. And let's say you are constantly losing your keys. Well, if you put your keys in the same bowl every single day and you make a habit of walking in the house and putting those keys in that bowl, guess what? That's your system. It's your process, and your mind will remember that. When it comes to clutter and decluttering your space and your mind, create those systems and processes that will help you get to autopilot so you never end up with that frustrating feeling of, how did I find myself here again? Why am I here again? So create those systems and processes. And the best way to do that is, again, to be self-aware so that you know where your strengths are, where your limitations are, so that you can do the things that you want to do. And that's going to help you. Okay. Now, these 3 areas of struggle that I've dealt with, I'm sure you dealt with them before in the past. They can all be avoided with what I just said, these systems and processes. So I want you to let me know in the comments if you've been there too. I don't want to be out here on this island by myself. So let's talk about it in the boss community. I'd love to hear from you and how you overcame the situation for yourself. How did you get to a point where the clutter was no longer affecting your ability to grow and build your dream life? Okay. But before you go, I want you to take a look at this next video that I'm going to have queued up for you. And I don't want you to forget to check out my Substack and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this week's video. I am so happy to be back. I'm so happy for the new year. I'm inspired and I'm motivated to bring you amazing content. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you back here again next week. Bye, guys.